Hey guys, it's Cash, and today I'm going to talk about scapegoating and how it plays into targeting and surveillance. I'm going to give an example, but how scapegoating works with this is usually someone is targeted because they just have different beliefs than the patterns of, let's say, a work group or a family dynamic or something like that. So usually it's the strongest member. And this is the one that everybody else is triggered by because they just see through the patterns of, for lack of a better term, tyranny that is going on in the dynamic. So now that individual that is seen to be the problem is now targeted, and the faults of this group or this family or workplace dynamic, whatever it may be, are now falling onto this specific person because the group as a whole doesn't have it in them to face the dysfunction of that group itself. So clearly, with my case personally, there was a lot of projecting going on. I was hearing things about myself. Yes, it was linked to a smear campaign, but a lot of projection going on in my situation. And I would just think to myself, like, I know myself well enough. This is something that I just do not do. And it's really, if you ever find yourself in a position like this, it's really that person's feelings being put on you. It's a whole bunch of deflection and projection, and you're finding yourself the victim of all these people's insecurities. So, my whole life I've seen patterns in group dynamics. I've always been able to spot, and most people can do this. Like, this person's the leader, this person kind of follows what this person says. But I've never been really afraid to speak out on it. And that's always kind of landed me in the position of the scapegoat. And a couple examples of this are, then you will be set up as a targeted individual. If you find yourself in this situation, they're going to set you up in situations where you will look like you are the aggressor or you are the person, whether you're being provoked or not, that it's going to be set up to make you look bad and to make everything that they are saying about you true. So there's a couple situations, with what I've been through. In one, this is actually a really good example. It kind of involves the surveillance. It involves like how the text message reading is. So this is one example. A girl had asked me to pay a friend of hers while she was going out of town. So we had the text messages. So there they saw in the text messages that I was going to be meeting up with somebody for someone and giving them money for her. Now, I didn't know this person from Adam. I have nothing to do with their transaction. She just asked me to do her a favor, so I agreed. So they saw that in my text messages, whether it was through Stingray or, I have software on my computer that picks that stuff up as well. So right there, they knew that I was meeting up with somebody. So there was going to be an exchange of some sort, whether I knew the guy or not. It was going to be me exchanging money with someone, and that was the first thing. Then I get a phone call for a party, an event at a family resort. And I didn't look it up. I just... it was later in the night. I said, oh, well, we'll go up there and see what's going on. So we get there. It's a family resort. And we're standing in the lobby at a hotel. Remember, facial recognition. And the concierge and the people and the security even came down and everything. And it just made for a very uncomfortable situation. And so the girl that I was with and we left, and I knew already what it had been, because from the paying, even though the payment had nothing to do with us going there, I knew that the two were connected in some way. And it was especially the icing on the cake when I received an email from one of the people that is in this group dynamic, and just basically calling me every bad name under the sun. And it was her saying, hey, look at me, it's 4:00 in the morning, it was me, I did it, haha. Okay, so putting all that together, I was set up. It does not look good that I was giving money to someone, showing up at a hotel, and then, it looks really bad. And to someone else who is only seeing the surveillance footage of me going to these places, it's going to look like I'm doing something wrong. And this is how these things, and it's been non-stop for the past year, and I just ignore it. But it's getting to the point where it's just kind of like, okay, what else are we going to do? But so it is all about control. So then, obviously you're not going to want to do favors for people anymore. You're going to cut off contact with people besides, maybe in work-related situations. And then they can say, oh, well, she's antisocial, she does this, and all these other things that they can make up about you to make you seem like you're the problem. So, I'm not somebody that bows to things. I've never been an ass kisser. So, I respect people, of course, but I've just never been the type of person to kiss ass. So that's why I've found myself in a lot of situations like this, because if they see that you're not like that and that you're different, you kind of just go off and do your own thing, they view that as a threat. Like, why isn't she all about me? And that is why I get myself into these situations. But yeah, it sucks, but apparently I'm built for it. And yeah. So if anybody has any situations that they've ever been in, because I'm sure there's a lot, targeted individuals that you've been set up in situations. I've spoken to other targeted individuals where they've gone out of town, met up with supposedly other targeted individuals. That's why I don't do the whole targeted individual meetup thing, but they were really perps trying to set them up, in some way. And that's a lot of what happens a lot in this targeted individual community, is the setup. So that's why I don't take emails anymore, nothing. Everything, if you want to comment down below, I'll respond to it. But as far as emails and calling anybody or meeting up with anybody, it's just really not something in my situation that I do. I just don't see any benefit from that. So yeah, that's my experience with that. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to comment down below. And as always, take care and God bless.